Over the past 540 million years, the Earth has experienced about 5 major extinctions and about 20 slightly smaller ones. The last one occurred 65 million years ago, wiping out the dinosaurs, but it is not considered the largest. But first things first. To begin with, let's try to figure out what is the cause of these most terrestrial resets. Given the number of extinctions, most of them have different causes, but similar in their specifics. So scientists have divided them into 2 large groups, caused by volcanic or near-space phenomena, like the fall of an asteroid and other similar objects. The first researcher of the phenomenon of global extinction was French journalist Georges Cuvier, who in the early 19th century put forward a catastrophism theory. According to this theory, those or other species of organisms dominated in each geological period, which then ended with their sudden extinction, the so-called revolution, which leads to replacement by other species as a result of sharp. Charles Darwin, Luis Alvarez, and many other modern scientists have since tackled the problem. So the first mass extinction is considered Ordovician-Silurian, occurred about 450 million years ago. This event got its name due to the fact that it occurred at the boundary of the Ordovician, i.e. the second period of the Paleozoic era, and Silurian, i.e. the third Paleozoic era. In the ranking of global extinctions, it ranks third for the percentage of extinct genera out of the 5 strongest extinctions in the history of the Earth, and second for the loss of the number of living organisms. Modern research has established that the cause of the Ordovician-Silurian extinction was the large-scale movement of an ancient supercontinent called the Gondwana toward the South Pole. This movement contributed to a global cooling, glaciation, and a subsequent drop in sea level. The retreat of the global ocean frontier destroyed or damaged habitats along the continental coast. Because of this, it is now estimated that more than 85% of marine animals died, with brachiopods, bivalves, echinoderms, bryozoans, and corals particularly affected. However, the most recent data have found an even more interesting reason for the Ordovician-Silurian extinction. Some scientists believe that the cause of the extinction was a gamma-ray impact on the Earth as a result of the explosion of a hypernova star located at a dangerous distance from the solar system. This was followed by a series of mass extinctions over a period of 120 million years. It all started with the Devonian extinction, which happened about 372 million years ago. What characterizes this period? By the late Devonian, the land was fully developed and populated with plants, insects, and amphibians, and the seas and oceans were full of fish. Moreover, during this period there were already giant reefs formed by corals and stromatolites, and the 2 giant continents of North America and Gondwana had just begun moving toward each other to form the supercontinent Pangaea in the future. The extinction probably mainly affected marine life, but its true causes are still unclear. A number of scientists believe that the main cause of the extinction in the oceans was changes in ocean levels and the depletion of oxygen in the ocean waters. Perhaps the activator of these events was the next global cooling or extensive ocean volcanism. However, the fall of extraterrestrial bodies as well should not be excluded. Some statistical studies of marine fauna at that time suggest that the decrease in diversity was associated rather with a decline in the rate of speciation than the rate of extinction. In the Devonian extinction, it affected mostly hydrobionts and 50% of all families and genera. However, the events that took place during the Devonian were not even close to modern extinction standards. We are talking about a mass Permian extinction that took place about 253 million years ago. For its scale, it was also called the Great Extinction. Chronologically, it divided the Paleozoic and Mesozoic. It killed more than 96% of all marine species and more than 73% of terrestrial vertebrates. The disaster was the only known mass extinction of insects, which resulted in the extinction of about 8,000 species. But what caused such a massive catastrophe? Alas, the exact cause of this genocide has not yet been found, but scientists have put forward several plausible hypotheses. For example, there is a theory that the Great Extinction could have been caused by a collision of the Earth with an asteroid several tens of kilometers in diameter, or with several asteroids. This is evidenced by the possible presence of a 500-kilometer crater in the Wilkes Land area. Also, a number of scientists consider among the causes of the Great Extinction such phenomenon as methane hydrate gun, in short, is a sharp and large-scale release of methane from under the ocean surface, which contributed not only to the extremely rapid change in currents, but also to a general change in the chemical composition of the water in it, as well as the temperature regime. The extinction of older forms of life opened the way for many animals that had long remained in the shadows. The beginning and middle of the Triassic period, following the Permian, was marked by the emergence of the archosaurs, from which the dinosaurs and crocodiles, and later the birds, emerged. It was also in the Triassic that the first mammal eaters appeared. The next mass extinction is the Triassic-Jurassic extinction, which occurred about 200 million years ago and was characterized by the destruction of 23% of all families and 48% of all genera, at least half of all now known species living on Earth at that time. What is interesting about the destruction of such a large number of living creatures gave rise to the beginning of the dinosaur age. Scientists also call the cause of the Triassic-Jurassic extinction the fall of an unknown asteroid, massive volcanic eruptions, as well as the already familiar release of methane in the ocean. Actually, then we have that very Cretaceous Paleogene extinction, which occurred 65.5 million years ago and resulted in the death of all non-bird dinosaurs. By the way, do you know what caused them to die? There will be no predicting, so we await your correct answer in the comments. In fact, even though it took as long as 10 million years to recover the biodiversity, this extinction was still not the most significant. Inferior in magnitude to the others of the Big Five that we described earlier, it is nevertheless of great interest to scientists because it forced the evolution of mammals, including contributing to the emergence of humans. What about modern history? On such a large scale, extinctions in modern history is almost not found, but there is something in it. For example, is worth noting the late Quaternary extinction. It began about 130,000 years ago and ended only about 1,000 years ago. What caused it? Us. Because of human activities, the so-called megafauna, that is, animals weighing more than 45 kilograms, have suffered. During this period, more than 65% of the megafauna has died, and although scientists are now trying to somehow compensate for the effects of our ancestors, we will not soon restore the same mammoth population. This is the peculiarity of the Quaternary extinction. After it, the Earth's ecosystem has not recovered. That is why scientists distinguish an even greater Holocene extinction, which is taking place up to the present day. During the last 500 years, almost 900 species of animals disappeared from the face of the Earth, and more than 35,500 species of animals and plants are now under the threat of extinction. The numbers of most animal species have declined sharply in the last 100-200 years due to the disappearance of their habitats as a result of human activities, direct extermination by humans, competition with introduced alien species, and other human-related activities. The reasons why and when it will stop depends solely on you and me. It is as much as possible a global issue, which includes politics, economics, ecology, sociology, and just absolutely every person on this planet, but that's another story. See you soon, friends.